Hello, you beautiful souls. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Today, I wanted to talk to you about what has been the most difficult and emotional part of the healing journey that I've been on, and that is forgiving myself. You hear people talk all the time about when people do things to them and forgiving them. But do you ever think about the things that you've done or said that could have affected other people? And do you think about the lies that you tell yourself when you make things okay? The last few years, I've really taken a deep dive into myself. And I've really looked at and evaluated the relationships in my life that are important to me, very important to me. And upon doing so, unfortunately, I realized that I had a lot of apologizing to do because I wasn't always the best. And I didn't treat certain people the way that they should have been treated. And this is a really difficult thing to say, and it's been a very, very humbling experience. But I have learned that in order to be able to grow and heal and help others heal, I had to really evaluate myself. And like I said, that's been the toughest part of my journey because forgiving yourself is really hard. So here's the thing about forgiving yourself is that once you decide that you're ready to do it, you really need to look at everything. And there are some things that I'm really not proud of that I had to dig real deep to forgive myself for. I mentioned in one of my videos that I had had a very successful career and I became a millionaire at 26 years old. In my opinion, I was probably too young to have that kind of success because I didn't really understand the responsibilities that came along with it. But that being said, the choices that I made were mine. After a lot of self-reflection and looking back on my life, there were a lot of things that I could have done better. There were a lot of things that I could have done better for my kids and for myself and for my family. I didn't need to go on that expensive vacation. I didn't need to have that Louis Vuitton purse from the runway. What I needed to do was put money into my 401k. What I needed to do was put money away for my children. And due to life's circumstances and losing my husband, there were some really hard truths that I had to face. Was that the kind of person that I wanted to be? Was that what I wanted to be known for? And the answer was a resounding no. When people think about me, I want them to think about love. I want them to think about the deep conversations that they have with me. I want them to think about someone who cares about other people. And I do also want people to say that I loved myself. And up until probably 6 or 7 years ago, I didn't. I didn't love properly. I wasn't the kind of person that I wanted to be. And as I started on this healing path and this spiritual path, I also started on a journey of self-forgiveness. And as I mentioned, it is the most difficult thing that I've ever had to do. Because when I looked back at myself and my life, although I had a lot to be grateful for and so much to be thankful for and to be proud of, I wasn't the person that I wanted to be at all. I wasn't the person that I wanted to be. So what did I do to change that? How have I worked on forgiving myself? Apologizing is easy. That's the easy part. And an apology might be nice, but that's not what people want. That's not what I want for myself. I don't just want an apology. What I want is change. Understand what went wrong. Understand what could be done differently. And then make those changes in your life. Don't just ask for forgiveness. Make sure that you and the people in your life actually see you putting in that work, actually see you trying to actively make changes to your life. And you know what? I can promise you that when they do, you don't even need to apologize, because it's just a given. There were times in my life where I had ups and downs with really important people in my life. You would say the most important people in my life. And a lot of those situations occurred because of me. I mean, it's really difficult to say, and it really sucks, honestly, to know that you were a person who yourself now might not have respected, might not have loved. And so for the last several years, I do a lot to forgive myself. But the most important thing that I do is change my actions. Work deeply on the person that I'm becoming and the person that I want to be. Make sure that the relationships that are important to me are well cared for. Make sure that the people in my life who I love, who I might not have always been the best to, whatever the circumstances might have been, make sure that they know how much I love them and how much I care about them. In order to heal here, you have to put yourself in a position of love. The only way to approach this journey is to love yourself and forgive yourself and know that what you're doing now is right and it's good and it's pure. I spend a lot of time with myself these days, and I really try to evaluate my life and everything that I do. I make a very conscious decision about everything that comes out of my mouth, everything that I do, everything that I say. It's done with purpose. It's not done to make myself look good. It's not done to make somebody else look bad. It's done because it's what I feel and hear. And in order to get to the point where what I'm feeling in here is pure, I spend a lot of time journaling, which for me has really helped me a lot get rid of the ego and just really get down to what's important. Connecting with my higher self and journaling and actually looking at myself from up here to down here has really helped. Meditating has helped a lot, and getting into a very comfortable place with myself. The other thing that helped me a lot was letting the people in my life know that I'm actively working on myself and I'm actively working to be better. After I actively really started to work on forgiving myself, one of the things that I did was I sat down and I made a list of everything that I could think of, every instance that I can think of where I might have hurt someone else or hurt myself in decisions that were made. And I wrote all of them down on a piece of paper. Now, understand that this did not happen right away. I really did start a pretty deep healing and spiritual journey at least 2 years before I got to the point where I could forgive myself. And had I understood how important it was to release that, I absolutely would have started that sooner. And when I learned that releasing that energy from yourself and releasing the negativity from yourself was so important in the healing process, that became a goal. It became something that was imperative for me to do for myself as part of this process. So I wrote down everything that I can think of from my entire life, everything that I could think of. And I'll give you an example. When I was probably about 10 or 11, I was in camp and my mom told me that I couldn't go roller skating with my camp group. I have no idea what the reason was. At the time, I probably think back on it and I'm positive that my mother had a reason for it. But I thought that I knew better, and I forged her signature. And I went roller skating with my camp. And of course, she found out. Of course she found out. Now, this many years later, I'm sitting and thinking about a really silly little situation like that and how that could have affected my mom. Just by me wanting to go roller skating with my camp, I mean, what a stupid, stupid thing. But I'm a mom now, and I have 3 kids. And when my daughter lied to me about where she was going, I understood how my mom felt. And so when I was compiling this list, I got down to the nitty-gritty and the dirty and all of it. And everything that I could think of that I did in my life that could have hurt someone else was written down on this piece of paper. And then I went outside. I lit a fire in my fire pit. I put that note in the fire and I meditated on being the person that I want to be. I meditated on making sure that everything that comes out of here, everything that comes out of your mouth is a truth. There's nothing that I can do to go back to those times. But I sure as hell can make sure that what happens from here on out is good, is in alignment with my soul and my soul's purpose. And so just like every other part of my life, I'm conscious, and I'm awake. And I would never do something to hurt someone or hurt myself on purpose. I'm talking about love for myself, for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for the people that you choose to have in your life. Because if you're going to take the responsibility of having relationships, then those relationships better be real. And if they're not worth it. They're just not worth it. So I want you to think about how important forgiving yourself is. And I want you to think about how being able to put yourself in a position where you know what you're doing is right, you know what you're doing is good, how important that is in your healing process, in your journey. You know, to me, spirituality is the relationship that you have with yourself and the relationship that you have with God, universe, whatever you'd like to call it, whatever sits right for you. And you need to know that you're sincere, you're honest, you're straightforward. You do what you say you're going to do, and you mean it. And although sometimes I occasionally struggle with this still, for the most part, I have been able to forgive myself. I've been able to forgive my past self when I was younger and maybe I didn't know better or I didn't understand what the repercussions would be. And by knowing that the honest and sincere work has gone into that process, it allows me to be a little bit more at peace with myself. And so although there were things that I felt like I could have done differently for my kids to make their lives better, you better believe that the second that I came to terms with that and I understood was the second that I really started putting in the work. This is a tough path, it's a tough journey, but you have people around you who love you, and you need to love yourself. And in order to do that, you have to forgive yourself. This channel is all about healing and helping. And if you can't heal yourself and help yourself, then you definitely can't help others. So do me a favor, and if you're stuck in that space, and if you still have things that you have a really difficult time forgiving yourself for, come to terms with them. Apologize to yourself, to other people, and then do everything in your power to put in the work and make sure that it doesn't happen again. I truly appreciate the support that you guys have given me since I launched this channel. To me, this was always going to be like a little video diary or a video journal where I can kind of do therapy for myself. But the response that I've gotten and some of the comments that I've gotten and some of the emails that I've gotten have really encouraged me to stay on this path and to continue this journey. And if anything that I ever say connects with you, please tell me. It means a lot. And if the content that I am putting out is helping you, please like the videos, please subscribe to my channel, And I'm going to do my best to give you all I've got. And let's do this together. And let's heal together and then help together. Because isn't that what this is all about? No one wants to do it alone. All everybody wants is love. So figure out how to love yourself properly and figure out how to love the people around you properly. And you will be so fulfilled and have a beautiful life, and it will be everything that you ever could have imagined and more. I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I hope to connect with you soon. Goodbye.